Welcome everyone, and thank you for being here today. I'm excited to introduce our presentation on real-world IT governance, risk, and compliance. Today, we'll be focusing on the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, or CSF. We'll explore what it is, how it helps organizations improve their cybersecurity posture, and how you can implement it effectively. So let's dive in and get started. The purpose of the NIST CSF is to provide a structured, risk-based approach to managing cybersecurity risk. What this means is that instead of relying on a one-size-fits-all solution, it helps organizations focus on what really matters, identifying and reducing risks in a way that makes sense for their specific situation. It emphasizes outcomes over specific technologies, so rather than prescribing particular tools or solutions, it guides you to achieve your security goals through a strategic and flexible framework. This approach allows organizations to tailor their cybersecurity activities to align with their business objectives, ensuring that security efforts support overall growth and success. Another key point is that the NIST CSF improves communication between different parts of the organization, especially between executives, IT teams, and security professionals. When everyone understands the same framework and language, it's much easier to work together effectively. Finally, it also supports regulatory compliance, audits, and customer assurance. By following this structured approach, organizations can demonstrate that they're managing cybersecurity risks responsibly, which is crucial for maintaining trust and meeting industry standards. Overall, the NIST CSF helps organizations build a resilient security posture that aligns with their strategic priorities. Now, let's talk about who should be considering the NIST CSF. It's really applicable to organizations of all sizes and across all industries. Whether you're a small startup or a large multinational, this framework can be valuable for your cybersecurity efforts. It's also widely adopted by government agencies, critical infrastructure providers, and large enterprises, which shows its credibility and relevance in high-stakes environments. One of the key benefits is that it's a great way to demonstrate due diligence to regulators and auditors. If you're ever audited or need to show compliance, having a structured framework like this can really support your case. Additionally, the NIST CSF often serves as a common baseline for developing and measuring cybersecurity maturity programs. Even if your organization doesn't have formal certification requirements, it still provides a solid foundation to improve your cybersecurity posture. So, in essence, this framework is versatile and adaptable, making it suitable for almost any organization looking to strengthen their cybersecurity practices. This slide shows that the framework is organized around 5 core cybersecurity functions. These functions are designed to represent the entire cybersecurity risk lifecycle, giving us a clear structure to work with. By focusing on these core areas, we get a high-level view of our overall security posture, helping us understand where we stand and what needs attention. Additionally, this structure supports integration with enterprise risk management. That means cybersecurity isn't in a silo. It's aligned with the broader organizational risk strategies, making our efforts more cohesive. And finally, having this framework enables us to plan security activities consistently and report on them effectively. Overall, this structure provides a solid foundation for managing cybersecurity risks comprehensively, aligning security efforts with our business objectives, and ensuring we can communicate our security posture clearly across the organization. Let's start by understanding the organizational context and identifying our critical assets. This means getting a clear picture of what's most important to the organization and how it operates. Next, maintaining comprehensive asset and data inventories is essential. By doing this, we know exactly what we have, where it is, and how it's being used. Establishing governance, policies, and roles provides the framework for consistent and responsible management. This ensures everyone understands their responsibilities and adheres to standards. Then, performing risk assessments and threat modeling helps us identify vulnerabilities and potential threats before they become issues. It's about being proactive rather than reactive. Managing supply chain risks and third-party risks is equally critical because vulnerabilities can come from outside partners or suppliers. All of these steps are interconnected. They form a core function that helps us protect our assets, maintain trust, and ensure business continuity. This function is fundamental to a strong cybersecurity posture and effective risk management. Now, let's talk about implementing safeguards to limit the impact of incidents. First, enforcing identity and access management controls is critical. This means making sure only the right people have access to the right resources, and that their access is appropriately managed and monitored. Next, applying data protection and encryption mechanisms helps secure sensitive information, even if a breach occurs, by making data unreadable to unauthorized users. Additionally, conducting security awareness and training is essential. It ensures everyone understands their role in maintaining security and recognizes potential threats. Lastly, deploying protective technologies and configurations creates a strong defense layer. These tools help detect, prevent, and respond to security incidents more effectively. Together, these measures form a comprehensive approach to safeguarding our systems, aligning perfectly with our overall goal of building a resilient and secure environment. Let's talk about how we identify anomalous and malicious activity within our systems. The key here is continuous monitoring. We need to keep a close eye on our systems and networks at all times so we can catch anything suspicious as soon as it happens. Part of this process involves collecting and analyzing security logs and events. These logs are like digital footprints. They tell us what's been happening behind the scenes. By examining them carefully, we can detect indicators of compromise, which are signs that our defenses might be under attack or have already been breached. The ultimate goal is to reduce attacker dwell time. The longer an attacker stays undetected, the more damage they can do. So, by detecting threats early, we can respond swiftly and limit their impact. In essence, this detection function is all about proactive vigilance, spotting threats before they cause serious harm. It's a critical part of our overall security strategy, helping us stay one step ahead of potential attackers. Let's talk about executing incident response plans. When a security incident occurs, it's crucial to follow established procedures quickly and effectively. This helps contain the issue before it spreads further. Containment and mitigation are about stopping the incident from causing more damage and reducing its impact. This might involve isolating affected systems or blocking malicious traffic. Coordination is also key. Both internal and external communications need to be managed carefully. Keeping everyone informed ensures that responses are aligned and that stakeholders are aware of what's happening. Performing incident analysis and root cause reviews helps us understand how the incident happened in the first place. This insight is vital for preventing similar issues in the future. Finally, incorporating lessons learned into our processes means we continuously improve our security posture. Every incident becomes an opportunity to strengthen our defenses and refine our response strategies. All of these steps, responding effectively and learning from each incident, are what make our incident response function robust and resilient. Now, once we've identified the affected systems and services, the next crucial step is to restore them as quickly and smoothly as possible. This involves executing our disaster recovery and business continuity plans, which are designed to guide us through the recovery process efficiently. After we've brought systems back online, it's essential to validate their integrity, making sure everything is functioning correctly and securely before fully resuming operations. Communication plays a vital role here, too. We need to keep all stakeholders informed about the recovery status, so everyone remains aligned and confident in the process. And finally, after the incident is resolved, it's important to review what happened, identify lessons learned, and use that insight to improve our resilience for future incidents. This continuous improvement cycle helps us strengthen our overall ability to recover quickly and effectively when challenges arise. Now, let's look at how we can break down each function into specific outcomes. This step is crucial because it helps us clarify what we want to achieve with each activity. By defining these outcomes clearly, we can ensure everyone understands the purpose behind each task. Next, we need to define the expected cybersecurity activities. This means outlining what actions should be taken to protect our assets effectively. Having these activities well defined allows us to stay focused and consistent in our approach. Supporting detailed control implementation is also key. It's about ensuring that the controls we put in place are thorough and tailored to our specific needs. This way, we don't just have controls on paper, they are actionable and effective. Another important aspect is enabling the measurement of our security maturity. We want to be able to assess how well our security efforts are progressing over time. Having clear metrics and benchmarks helps us identify areas for improvement and demonstrate our progress. Lastly, mapping these functions to other standards and controls is essential. It ensures alignment with broader frameworks and best practices, making our cybersecurity posture more robust and integrated. As we go through this, remember that categorizing and subcategorizing these functions helps organize our efforts systematically. It makes our cybersecurity strategy more manageable and comprehensive, ultimately supporting our overall security goals. Now, let's take a closer look at the maturity of cybersecurity risk management, which is really about how organizations develop and refine their approaches over time. We start with Tier 1, which is partial. At this level, practices tend to be ad hoc and reactive, meaning organizations respond to issues as they arise, but often lack a structured approach. It's a bit like putting out fires without a clear strategy. Moving up, we reach Tier 2, known as risk-informed. Here, organizations have approved policies and procedures, but these are applied inconsistently across the organization. It's an improvement, but there's still room for more uniformity and discipline. Tier 3 is repeatable. At this stage, organizations have formally established practices that they follow consistently. This represents a significant step toward maturity because processes are documented, repeatable, and more reliable. Finally, Tier 4 is adaptive. This is the most advanced level, where cybersecurity risk management is continuously improving and optimized. Organizations here learn from past experiences, adapt to new threats, and proactively refine their strategies. Understanding these tiers helps us see where an organization currently stands and what steps are needed to advance. It aligns with our overall goal of strengthening cybersecurity resilience by progressing through these levels of maturity. Let's take a closer look at the profiles. The current profile reflects our existing security posture, essentially showing us where we stand today. It helps us understand our strengths and identify areas that need improvement. On the other hand, the target profile defines our desired outcomes, where we want to be in the future. By comparing these two, we can identify gaps and set priorities for improvement. This comparison is crucial because it supports the development of a clear roadmap for enhancing our security measures. It also ensures that our security investments are aligned with the actual business risks we face. When we understand both profiles, we can make smarter decisions about where to focus our efforts and resources, ultimately strengthening our overall security posture. Let's talk about the importance of prioritizing controls based on impact and likelihood. What this means is that we focus our efforts on the security measures that will have the greatest effect on reducing risk, while also considering how likely a threat is to occur. It's about making smart decisions rather than just checking boxes. Balancing security investments with business needs is another key aspect. We want to ensure that our security measures support, rather than hinder, our overall goals and operations. This way, security becomes an enabler, not a barrier. It's also important to avoid a checkbox-style approach to compliance. Simply ticking boxes doesn't necessarily improve our security posture. Instead, we aim for meaningful controls that truly mitigate risks. Supporting informed decision-making is crucial. When we understand our risks clearly, we can make better decisions about where to allocate resources and how to implement controls effectively. And ultimately, All of this helps us improve our overall visibility into risks. The more aware we are of potential threats and vulnerabilities, the better prepared we are to respond and protect our organization. This approach, what we call a risk-based approach, guides us in making strategic, impactful security choices that align with our business objectives. Let's talk about the importance of governance and leadership in cybersecurity. First, it requires strong executive sponsorship and oversight. This means that senior leaders need to be actively involved and committed, providing the necessary support and resources. Next, it's essential to define clear accountability and ownership. Everyone should know their roles and responsibilities when it comes to cybersecurity within the organization. Another key point is integrating cybersecurity into enterprise risk management programs. This ensures that cybersecurity isn't seen as a standalone issue, but as a core part of managing overall organizational risk. Establishing policies and reporting structures is also critical. Having well-defined policies helps guide behavior, and clear reporting lines ensure issues are escalated and addressed promptly. Finally, all of this must be aligned with the organization's overall strategy. When cybersecurity governance supports the broader business goals, it becomes more effective and sustainable. In essence, strong governance and leadership create the foundation for a resilient cybersecurity posture that aligns with and supports the organization's success. Let's take a moment to look at how our framework aligns with various standards and controls. First, it aligns with SOC 2 Trust Services criteria, which means it supports organizations in meeting the requirements for security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy. This is crucial for building trust with your clients and stakeholders. Next, it maps to PCI DSS requirements, helping organizations that handle payment card data ensure they meet security standards for protecting cardholder information. This alignment simplifies compliance efforts and reduces complexity. Additionally, our framework supports ISO 27001 control alignment, which is a globally recognized standard for information security management systems. This ensures your controls are consistent with international best practices. By integrating these standards, our approach reduces duplicate compliance efforts. Instead of managing multiple, overlapping requirements separately, you can streamline your efforts into a unified process. This unified approach also enables the adoption of control frameworks that work across various standards and regulations. It makes compliance more efficient and less burdensome, allowing organizations to focus more on security and less on managing multiple frameworks. Overall, this mapping and alignment to other standards emphasize the versatility and comprehensive nature of our framework, making it a valuable tool for organizations aiming for robust, efficient, and holistic compliance. Now, let's talk about some common challenges we often encounter during implementation. First, incomplete asset and data inventories can really hinder progress. If we don't have a full picture of what assets we have or the data we're working with, it's difficult to make informed decisions or prioritize effectively. Next, a lack of clear ownership and accountability can cause confusion and gaps in execution. When responsibilities aren't clearly defined, it's easy for tasks to fall through the cracks or for team members to be unsure of their roles. Another issue is treating the framework as a simple checklist. While checklists are helpful, they shouldn't be the end goal. We need to understand the underlying principles and integrate them meaningfully into our processes. Insufficient metrics and measurement also pose a challenge. Without proper metrics, it's tough to track progress or identify areas needing improvement. Measurement is key to continuous improvement and demonstrating value. Lastly, failing to embed these practices into daily operations can mean that even well-designed frameworks remain theoretical. For real impact, these practices must become part of the routine, not just an add-on. Overall, recognizing these challenges helps us develop better strategies to overcome them and ensure successful implementation of our initiatives. let's wrap up with some practical steps to ensure your cybersecurity program is effective and ongoing. First, conducting an initial gap assessment is crucial. This means evaluating where your current security measures stand compared to your desired state, so you can identify areas that need improvement. Next, defining a target profile based on your risk tolerance helps tailor the program to what you're willing to accept and what needs to be protected most. It's about aligning your security efforts with your organization's risk appetite. Then, developing a phased improvement roadmap allows you to plan and implement changes systematically. This way, improvements are manageable, measurable, and less overwhelming. Tracking progress using metrics and KPIs is essential to see what's working and where adjustments are needed. Regularly reviewing and updating the program ensures it remains aligned with evolving threats and your organization's changing needs. Throughout all this, using the NIST Cybersecurity Framework in practice provides a structured and flexible approach. It helps you build a resilient security posture step by step, making sure your efforts are strategic and effective. Remember, cybersecurity is an ongoing journey, and these steps help keep your defenses proactive and aligned with your overall business goals.